welcome to the Whine Show Artist Edition. My name is Harley, I represent Texas Music and Art, and I'm going to be your host for today. We're going to be talking about all different kinds of controversial topics and things that we disagree on as humans, but we're going to be doing it civilly over a glass of wine. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and all of your comments are going to be answered during our live feed. We have some amazing artists and musicians in the house today, as well as some really great musical advice that's going to be coming on camera and off camera. So y'all stick around. We're going to get started with our shameless plugs. This is the Whine Show Artist Edition. And up first, we're going to start over here and give some shameless plugs and get everybody going, and we'll get on to the topic as soon as we get done with our shameless plugs. So let's start with you, man. Why don't you introduce yourself and let us know where we can find you online.
My name is Francisco Flores. You can find me on Frankie Holmes on Instagram. Pretty much, I've been an artist for about the last 17 years in Houston bound.
No? You've been 17 years, you said, in Houston? So Francisco Flores, what was the Instagram you said?
Frankie Holmes.
Frankie Holmes, is that with the L in Holmes?
HOLMES.
Is that an IE on Frankie too?
Yeah, right now.
Yes,
Cool,
sir.
right on, awesome. Well, thank you, Francisco, for coming out, man. I'm really happy to have you. And you're Ricky, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us your name, tell us where we can find you.
My name is Ricky Ortiz, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Ricky Ortiz Arts. So, Facebook.com/Ricky Ortiz Arts, and same with Instagram. Been an artist, safe to say, all my life. Started drawing sharks and kept drawing and drawing and drawing
Sharks.
until I learned how to paint and do everything else that I know.
Cool, awesome.
And I am Houston bound, so I am from Houston.
You're
born
both
in-
from Houston, right?
Yeah, born and raised.
Awesome, man. Even more love to the Houston local scene here. We're really excited to have you guys out for our artists today, and we're really looking forward to talking to you about this piece. But like I said, my name's Harley. I'm with Texas Music and Art. That's my plug. You can find me at TexasMusicandArt.com, at Texas Music and Art on Facebook, on Twitter, and Snapchat will be TX Music and Art. You can also find me online, any of those different handles, Texas Music and Art or TX Music and Art. Sydney, why don't you tell us about yourself?
I'm Sydney. I don't really know what to say, but I'm going to shout out Sound Revolution record store, local family-owned record store in Houston. There's 2 locations, one on 1960 in Ella and 249 in Louetta. You can look at the Instagram at Sound Revolution HTX or Sound Revolution Smoke.
And they have tons of different types of smoke products, vinyls
Records,
like you wouldn't
yeah.
believe, a collection that is
CDs,
awesome.
Skateboards. So if you're looking for a gift, we are about to head into like holiday hours and stuff, and we're gonna have deals and stuff. So come check it out.
Yeah, tons of vinyls, great musical input here. And why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Ross House. I'm a musician for life. I've been playing for since I was 12. You can find me Ross House on Instagram or Facebook. And yeah, that's right. That's it.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out. Today's topic, just so you guys know as we get started into it, is does categorization of music and genreization of music divide us as listeners and as musicians? And I think that there's a lot of different people out there right now who can seem to stand on either side of this fence. But me, I'm going to take a hard stance and say that, yes, I do think that categorization of music does divide us. And real quick, we'll just do a round robin. We're going to bullet point some things. But there are certain types of people who would say that to be playing with a certain type of style of music, you have to be from a certain type of background. And over time, we've categorized music and put it into these little tiny, I guess you could say, cubby holes that fit for us. And we're going to ask our guests to chime in too for all of our topics and all of our different types of questions. And anything you feel like chiming in on, we're going to be answering you live. We do have a live feed going behind the camera, so don't feel like we're going to overlook your comments. We won't. But real quick, we're going to start with Ross. What do you think about the categorization of music?
One of the things I'm wondering is when you say that, are you saying, so like if you like a certain genre of music and another person doesn't like that genre of music, does that divide you? Is that what we're saying?
There's one way it can.
Is that what we're talking about?
Well, moreover, does the categorization of music divide us as people? And if you can think of a way that it does, will you elaborate? And if it doesn't, we'll still elaborate.
Okay.
I know we just started. We haven't even barely gotten into drinking.
Yeah.
It basically is your opinion. I mean, how do you see the question? Answer the way you would think.
So explain it to me. So like if you're
I believe it does.
If you like a certain genre of music,
mm-hmm.
and another person doesn't like that genre of music, does it separate us like that?
I believe there's definitely hate from certain angles.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
And for instance, like, why is it that country music is associated with being white and out and stuff like that? And why is it that rap music and more urban music is associated with being African American or being in the inner cities when there are people on each and opposite end of the spectrum both trying to produce the same music? Does this categorization of music divide us?
Well, I think that it divides certain people, but it can also bring people together, because, like, if I go to a concert and I'm listening to, I like Catfish in the Bottom, and all the people there like Catfish in the Bottom, and it's going to bring us all together. But, like, there's people that don't like that kind of music, and they're not going to show up there, and I see how that would divide you in a way. But
it could. What about you, Sydney, working in a record store? Do you think that the different genres of music cause us to be divided as people?
No. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Even if you got somebody that's coming in and they're wearing like punk garb and rock trash garbage, you don't think that they're gonna? You think that they'll hang out with somebody who goes into the hip hop R&B section just fine?
Yeah, because I mean,
believe it.
okay,
I don't believe it.
because people.
I disagree, but all right.
I think, people divide people, and
That's
if I don't know. I mean, working at a record store, there's so many different types of people that come through there, especially in Houston. So it's very interesting. But like just the other day,
You pretty much get a first-hand view of
like
much
just
of
the other day,
to be
and
able to
like,
answer that question,
and
because
it's cool
working there.
talking to people about different types of music because there's just so much. And there's people that come in there and they'll buy a stack of records. And as I'm like pricing all of them and going through and ringing them up, I'm like, wow, this is a lot of mixture of stuff. Like, it'll be, I don't know, like 90s classic rock.
Does that happen more? Does that mix happen more than just somebody buying in a specific genre? Or do you get more people that buy one specific genre rather than buying an eclectic mix?
I don't.
depends on the person.
It depends on the person. I mean,
Yeah, it
like,
comes out
But
to
on
that.
average,
Yeah.
like, what do you
I
think you
mean,
see more of?
what?
Like, do you see more people buying like just specifically one genre, or do you see more people buying an eclectic range of genres? At working at a record store, you're the only one who could generally actually answer this question.
Oh,
And working there for a long time, one of the best
Yeah.
record stores in Houston.
man, that one is a hard one.
I feel like well, me personally, I like a lot of different kind of music, but I lean toward rock music or like
the
like
indie alternative,
acoustic, kind of
me
like
too, me too.
acoustic. But I listen to everything. I don't feel like that divides me from other people. Like I have friends that listen to like
It's
rap.
more.
And,
I mean, like, there's so much out there. There's so many different types of music and different types of musicians and stuff. So it's. I don't think it divides us.
You don't think it divides us?
I don't.
I think it does. I think it does. But the reason why I say that is because, like, me personally, I'm alternative rock, indie, stuff like that. I wouldn't go out of my way to go to a country concert. I wouldn't go out of my way to go listen to the newest, hottest Keith Urban or whatever album. I wouldn't. And I would actively go out of my way to avoid it. I personally listen to everything else but country. So that
kill my
divides
soul.
me. It divides me. Country divides me. Once I find out you're a country fan, I'm like, oh.
well, I don't like you anymore.
Not that I don't like you anymore. It's
No,
just that there's so much more to
well,
music.
I know.
You know, there's just. But
You're
that's
garbage.
me being divided. What about you? You guys being the artist
Man.
perspective, do you think that generalization of music, much like it does with art, does it divide us?
Yeah, depending on the range of the place that you're living in, you know, say you're out there in the country, you can be on a rancho somewhere, you're still listening to rap, you know. You know, it's what you order, you know, what you come into town for,
Okay.
you know. You be, you know, bumping metal, you know, and just because people don't want to hear that shit, so.
I've heard a few
Excuse
country
my
songs. I'm
French.
like, all right, that's pretty good. That's pretty all right.
I know if I
Yeah,
started
I mean,
if I
not
started
very many.
promoting country music on my page, being a
Sorry.
booker and a talent agent myself, that I would lose a lot of friends. I can admit that. And the reason why is because, like, if there's a certain type of crowd, if there's a certain type of people buying a certain genre or a certain specific style of music, they're divided into that group. They're not getting to experience trip hop, jazz metal, you know, techno fusion. They're not seeing all of these different things. And much like I am with not wanting to listen to country, I'm divided into that everything but country kind of genre. When really, you know, if I'm in country and listening to it, there's some songs like, I like old country, you know, like, but
George Strait or something like that. That's pretty cool.
there ain't a single song out of George Strait's mouth that
Johnny
has not been a hit
Cash.
first.
If you're
Yeah,
feeling like the blues.
and on the opposite end of the spectrum, like Wu-Tang, I love that kind of rap. I don't like listening to Lil Wayne.
No.
Mortal Technique, poetry rap. Love listening to that. Doesn't mean I'll necessarily listen to Hobson.
Well, that's why I think it just depends on. It's just
Even
the
though Hobson is
artist.
an incredible
Every
artist.
artist in their genre is different. So it's more than just one general genre. It's like, well,
Exactly. And do you think that the generalization divides us away from experiencing everything that music has to offer? Just like the dividing and different types of art mediums, does that shy us away only being an acrylic artist or only being a pastel artist or only being, a watercolor artist? Does that shy us away from enjoying everything that art has to offer or that music has to offer?
Well,
That's really the real question of the night. What do you think?
like as far as speaking of music, divide is a very strong word because,
music's
for
supposed to be the
example,
opposite of it, yeah.
for example, like you said, you go to a certain show of a certain band, all those people that see that band, but there's people that don't go see it. But hey, it doesn't mean a divide. It just means my friend's not there because he doesn't like that group. But we're still friends.
yeah.
It's just that's not his flavor. Me, for example, I think also I go a little on this age has to do something with it too. Maybe I grew up in high school listening to metal. Hard rock, all sorts of different
And
type
you're wearing
of
a pretty
rocks.
brutal shirt right now, too.
Thanks. So all sorts of rock, and I liked electronic music. So it was just those two things. Now I'm 32, and I'm finding myself liking a lot of different kind of genres. So from rock to electronic to now some rap, which a lot of it's old school. And the reason why is because back when I was way younger, like our older cousins, my older cousins would pick me and my other cousin from school when we were going to the same school, and they listened to rap. So it's like some of that rap kind of, it's like, oh man, I remember that song, and then it kind of takes me back to those days too. So it's kind of like nostalgia for me as well. I like some new rap. I like reggae. It's funny. I have a neighbor of mine. He likes like country and stuff, and that's the thing. Like, every genre has subgenres, so there's like country music that I will listen to, and it's mostly the ones that talk about hanging around, drinking beer and stuff like that. It's like I can relate to that.
My girl does that too. I make fun of her every time she puts on country music. I'm like sitting on a truck, drinking some beer.
Yeah,
it's like
I guess it has to do with age as well. You kind of you get older, you open up to stuff and to a lot of different things. You used to be like, no, I'm not gonna listen to that, and now you're just like, whatever, if it sounds good, if it's not, or if it's something you relate
That's
to,
what I
you're
think.
gonna
If it sounds good,
you're gonna like it, you're gonna enjoy it.
I don't know. What do you guys think listening at home? Do you guys think that kids that are, for instance, being raised around, like in a younger sense, listening to a certain category of music are closed off from listening to everything else because what they're taught and what we are teaching them on the radio or on the media, how certain types of music portray a certain image, dividing
You
us
bring the
in that
media
sense.
into it.
Well, the
That's
media
a
has
different
everything to do with
story,
what we
yeah.
do for a living, like we can't make money without this media, right?
So I try to stay off the news. I don't want it to ruin.
Well,
my
we're
life.
here to
the
argue
government,
about
they're
it,
gonna get you.
and that's what we're gonna do.
Big brother.
So I know we have some friends chiming in. I know David Pipkin's chiming in. I know we've got Nick Boyer. Thank you for tuning in. Michael David Jackson says it's a good time to try new things. Music
Cheers
can
to all of
divide
you.
because people listen to music. People naturally like to be divided. You're right. Absolutely, Michael David Jackson. Melissa Nicole.
That's my
says-
wife.
Oh yeah.
Straight.
So
She's
wife's
I'm
not. Sit
trying
up straight,
to.
honey. All right, Will Ward, he's
Back
been on the show
problems.
before. Thank you for watching, man. It says, gotta go make music love, y'all. Harley, Sydney, Joe, keep it sounds good. Thank you so much, man. Paul Murray says, music's its own language. It unites. I don't know, Paul. And the reason why I
Love
say
you, honey.
music is its own language, I can agree with you, but it does not divide it does not unite because many different languages divide. It stops us from understanding each other, much like different styles of music and different genres of music. Like supposedly, if you believe in, if you're a Christian, you believe that there was a time when they divided tongues and they divided one language into many different languages. Why is it that music's divided the same way that our language is? So I don't think that it unites. I think that music can separate. It can bring us together if we're in our own little separated circle together. You know what I mean?
Can.
But
Yeah,
I don't think that
okay.
music helps us relate, helps us
depends on
understand
the person.
our closed group.
Yeah,
but I don't think
yeah.
Or
that
who
like
you
it's
hang out
person.
with as well.
It could be
I
the
feel like
same
it's- if you're a
concept.
Or
prejudiced
how you're
person.
raised, like you said.
it divides out people
Yeah.
you don't want to listen. Like if you're going to a country bar and you're going there with your boots on, you're not going there to see people with sneakers. You're dividing those people out.
Yeah,
you're not
like
going there to
nice
see
people
people.
with
You know what I
boots
mean?
and
Like
That's
if you're going
true.
to an alternative
But
music concert,
Even though, even if there's a bar that's a country bar, I'm still gonna go in wearing sneakers because
don't
Because you're
Maybe-
Sydney and you
'Cause I
just
don't
like
rap
I
rap
just do
movies.
what I want. I don't know. I just
Thanks. We have some more people chiming in. Calvin says music can decide people, but I've seen as okay. That's a hard one to read there, man.
Lovely.
Music
It
can
has
divide
brought people
people,
together
but-
depending on the life
can divide
scenario.
Music can divide people, but it's brought people together.
But lately it has
Yeah.
brought people together. Yeah.
Right. No, and it can, but see,
knowing how to listen.
I think, and I have some friends that are watching right now. I ask you guys to chime in. We were talking about this on Tuesday at Avant Garden at our open mic. But we were talking about it very, very, very much so because there's so many different types of musicians here in Houston. And there's even articles released about how the musicians in Houston have a hard time uniting together because they're so focused on their own genre, their own scene, their own lane. They're not trying to worry about bringing in these kids over here who are feeling left out from the indie scene. Hey, come check this music out. These kids are from Jesse. Hey, come check this out. We're focusing on our own lane. So that's how I take my stance on it. Genrealization of music is ruining music.
Sort of, but like, oh man, what's that band?
If you think that genrealization of music is not ruining music, then you can
Oh,
comment
I
and
support
argue.
the
Just
crap out of
abstract
them.
music?
Abstract
Yeah,
music.
I
I
mean-
support the crap out of them, man. I have them on Instagram. That's their rap. That's rap.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
dropped an album, Abstract Volume 1.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys are out on Spotify, shout out to Abstract. Thank you
I'll have
guys.
to check them out.
I
I don't even
honestly-
know who they are.
I'm gonna go back to my point that I think that it is about the artist. I guess like maybe we shouldn't be focusing so much on I like country music and I like rap music and I like this music because there's so like Taylor Swift, she started off as country. And then now she went to
pop
pop
and whatever.
and
Well,
she started
indie,
indie too, yeah,
indie,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, so it's like everyone, you can get out there. You know, you can
Swing in
expand.
the genres.
It's just some people only like to stick to one, and they seclude themselves to one style of music, and they're like, oh, if you listen to country, then
That's the person.
It's the person that would
Yeah.
see the particular kind of music they listen to as a lifestyle, also as well, not just
Yeah.
music that they enjoy.
But see, there's
some people
like-
that live it as
There's
their
some
lifestyle.
there's some people, and Jeremy
Of all
Baker
rap or all
chimed in.
country,
He had a really good point about
whatever.
this. He said, then there's the whole issue of knowing how to listen. If you don't have exposure, sometimes more challenging music may not be as easy to get into. That's an incredibly good point,
That is a
Jeremy,
good point.
because that's like Christian metal or like Christian hardcore music. Yeah, you're portraying and putting across a forgiving Christian message, but you're doing it with some death metal
You're
vocals.
being brutal.
You're being
I've
brutal
heard
about
some, I
it.
can't-
So if
Wish I
you've
remember
got
the
like
band's
a
name. I
nice
remember hearing them in high school,
Anglo-Saxon
and they were awesome.
woman and her, Sunday's
Couldn't
best
understand.
pulling out of church, pulls up next to the teen that's in freaking 10th grade wearing cut-off ripped skinnies and a, Bless the Fall shirt, playing like
probably
heavy
me,
metal
yeah.
music.
Probably.
That's
They're
probably
not
me
going to get
he's talking
along,
about.
even though they're both sharing the same belief that their music is talking about, whether one's listening to the hymn and one's listening to heavy
Even
metal.
within the genre, like I
Yeah,
said, there's
it's just getting
subgenres
out.
that
yeah,
don't get along.
and that's learning how to listen. Yeah, that's really good. And learning how to listen and being open-minded. What do you guys think about the radio stations? Here's another way we divide it. We've got R&B radio, country radio, top hits radio.
So listen,
We don't have a single
corporation,
local
man.
radio station, guys. That is on the air. That is 100% local. That we need to do something about that. But
That's true. That'd be
yeah,
cool.
local radio
cool.
would be
That would
cool.
be
So
really
let's start a
cool.
movement
We
for that
need that.
hashtag. We
Cool.
need local radio. But
Oh,
in the meantime,
91.7, I remember that.
I remember going into my mom's room when I was a kid, and she would only have on soul radio, only.
Mm.
So I would say, and I
woke
would
up to
credit.
Sunny 99.1 every
too.
day. I went to
Me
school thanks to my mom.
And now because of that, we're divided into this
Christmas carols,
category.
Christmas
This
carols.
tiny little
and
comfortable
all.
category that we can fit in. But anyways, let's move this on to the art side because
Yeah, man.
we don't know crap about art. So we're gonna need you guys to educate us a
I
little
know
bit.
that's
But real
super
quick,
cool.
Speak for me.
I know that's super cool. Did you?
Ricky,
Yeah, that's mine.
Can we
Thank
talk
you.
about this first? Is that
Yes.
cool?
Yeah,
Let's see
but
what
very briefly, the name's called Metamorphosis. It's both acrylic and airbrush. The idea came actually a year ago, not this past June, but the June before.
Chime in with your comments on the painting, by the way.
My wife and I went to Italy, so a lot of it is inspired by horror because I love horror movies. I love dark art. H.R. Giger's one of my favorite
nice.
artists, amongst a few others: Clive Barker, Francis Bacon, Zdzisław Beskinsky. But a lot of it, and I don't know if you can tell how much you know about like all the old like classical type of art that in Italy. Like we saw a bunch of the statues. It was mostly a lot of the statues we saw at the cathedrals that inspired this one. Yeah. Oh yeah. It was my second time. Yeah.
Had to.
I'd been to Italy before back in high school. It was a spring trip, but so this was for me a second time. But we had more than just 1 week. We were there for 2 weeks, got to explore a lot more stuff. So we got to stick around to stay and see the artwork longer than I did back then.
I saw this piece exhibitioned in Jomar Art Gallery for the Honor Horror Show, which I believe you were at too, right?
Yeah, he was there too.
Yeah.
But awesome. So it was heavily inspired by a lot of the art that I saw in Italy. I remember being on one of the trains there, sketching it out. I mean, I have it. I still have the drawing, and I started sketching it out, and then months went by. I'm like, I need to paint this.
How much is this going for?
Like a stick man.
This one I am putting it up for $1,000.
$1,000? Where can we find it?
Right now, I have it at home.
Usually
I put it between shows. I probably will be taking it up to 45 Art Center. It's a new art gallery off of 45 South, right off of Broadway, and with the cross street Park Place. You can literally see the building right off the freeway, like stands tall, and you'll see it. Linda's the owner there. I have some pieces there already, but this one and another one that I have are ones that I want to take, and I have a few more others that I want to kind of like transition and exchange. But
are there any art shows coming up that we can see this in?
Not that I'm aware of at the moment. Just been right now at the moment. I've been busy with work. I do have a trip with my wife coming up to Mexico, which I haven't been to in a long time to see some family. Yeah. So we're kind of just focused on that right now. Usually it's actually been a reoccurring thing every year around this time during the holidays. I kind of just chill out, take a break. If I get time, I create more artwork, and then once the new year rolls in, I kind of pop it out there, you know.
Really prolific and get it just done.
Yeah.
What about you, man? How are the holidays treating you? You brought some art today to show us, right? Is there some in the room?
Yeah, well, it's under the chair right now.
Oh, it's under the other chair. I got you.
Yeah.
Are there any?
Is it under my chair?
Yeah.
Would you mind grabbing some of those out? Yeah. And while he's doing that, just a few questions for you. So, where are you showing next? Where is your art going to be hanging next?
I'm looking to. There's a seasonal bash at Hardy Nance. Was it the 16th? Pretty much is like one of those white elephant,
Gotcha.
Gifts,
Nice.
But,
yeah. So he has been showing at the Honor Horror Show as well. He's been working with the Texas Music and Art team over at Jomar Visions, where our studio is located. Some of his stuff that he brought to show today, you did bring some T-shirts and stuff you wanted to show as well.
Yes.
You can find. Where can we find this stuff online?
I have these T-shirts. I will post them. It's a Life and Death.
Oh, sweet.
Life and Death
print. I'd wear that.
Nice.
Be my pajamas right there.
Cool, man. I like
originally block print.
Okay.
Turned into a T-shirt.
Nice.
Cool.
Sold a couple of them at the warehouse.
Right on. Awesome. And you brought in some other pieces as well, right?
Yeah, they're not, for the
I saw that online.
For the people,
it's a pug, right?
The seasonal,
Love pugs.
Christmas.
Yeah.
That is so cute.
It's funny because I have a shirt that I got for Christmas of a pug wearing a Santa hat.
That's awesome.
My favorite shirt.
She's a dog walker.
Yeah.
She had a pug, a neighbor of hers. And,
it's kind of like Harley.
Yeah.
It's cute. Yeah.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Unless there's a pug Harley, I won't take any offense. So cool. And jumping, if I may,
about
like I said,
artists and the
yeah.
division.
But real quick, I wanted to touch on it. Have you been? It's been a while since we've seen you in the studio and down at the open mics and in the city on the scene. So what have you been doing, man? You've been laying low,
bro. No, I quit my job, so I've been like trying to get a new one and whatnot. But I got one. I work at Fridays now. Down the road. But yeah, super cool. One of my friends works down there. So me and my friend Seth so
cool. Have you written anything new? Did you bring maybe a song you can share with us?
Yeah, I've been writing. You may go ahead and play something.
Would you? Yeah, is that okay with you guys?
I haven't finished anything new yet, but I'm working on some stuff.
wish I could
Play
whistle
some-
like
play
that.
some old
Okay,
stuff.
while you're tuning it up, we're gonna fill up these glasses and we're gonna
Please, fill mine.
take a nice deep listen. For those of you guys that are chiming in, the topic for today is: does categorization of music divide us? And if so, please elaborate and share with us your opinion. We at the Wine No Wine Show are very, very, very open to social discourse and agreeing civilly here in the Wine No Wine Show studios. All right, Ross. So
Never
what's the name of this
Don't
piece
have
you're
a
gonna
pick.
play for
This
us?
is one that you told me you liked. It's Better Man.
Oh, this is the okay. Yes, you guys
Yeah.
are in for a great song. Stay tuned. This is "Better Man" by Ross House.
I got a sore, little bit of scratch in the throat, but it'll still sound good. I'll make it sound good. I mean you no harm. I broke out of my shell. This life's a funny thing. It'll put you through hell. The man that I am, it changes every day. If you'd have stuck around, you'd have heard me say, I'm a better man, I'm a better friend. I can almost see the light. I'm a better son, you're not the only one that can put up a fight. I'm gonna keep my heart beating for the people around me. No more bad company. No more bad company. I see shadows on the wall as my memory fades. It means nothing at all. It's all a big haze. I feel crazy sometimes 'cause I think about the same thing over and over and over and over again. I'm a lonely, 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 lonely man. I'm a better man, I'm a better friend. I can almost see the light. I'm a better son, you're not the only one that can put up a fight. I'm gonna keep my heart beating for the people around me. No more bad company. No more bad company. To my mother, to my brother, I won't let you down. Now we're quarter up before there'll always be around. I'm gonna be the man that you need me to be. I'm gonna be the friend that you need me to be. I'm a better man, I'm a better friend. I can almost see the light. I'm a better son, you're not the only one that can put up a fight. I'm a better man, I'm a better friend. I can almost see the light. I'm a better son, you're not the only one that can put up a fight. I'm gonna keep my heart beating for the people around me. No more bad company. No more bad company. Thank you.
So what inspired you to write that piece?
Well, that one, I was sitting on my couch and I was going through old photos of myself. Or no, just old photos in my phone. And I was just looking at the recent ones and the old ones, and I was just thinking about how much I've changed over just time. And I just thought how much better of a person I am now. Just because when you try to be a better person, it just, if you want it, it happens. You just become different, you change. And that's what that inspired. It was just me feeling like I'm a better man now than I was even 6 months ago.
Rock on.
Yeah,
That was
I
freaking
guess.
solid. Now, if you guys really like that song and want to hear it again, I really liked it. You can check out our YouTube channel and subscribe at youtube.com/The Whine No Wine Show. That is WINE No WHINE show. So you guys go ahead and turn on in over there if you want to check it out. And does music divide us? We've come across a lot of different perspectives on this. With being musically authentic. I think that if we're going to divide anything in the music industry, it should be whether or not it's authentic or crap, because that's the only way I can see dividing music and letting it divide us. Are we going to be authentic, or are we going to be what we listen to, which is crap? So do you guys know of any artists right now that you can honestly say are non-authentic, that are being way outside of that are speaking way outside of their genre, like how they say certain comedians shouldn't be able to do their role because, like, Larry the Cable Guy, how him
I was gonna mention that.
Like he's not even country as hell, but he's an icon for all of these.
He's a
country,
character.
He's a character for all of these country. I guess you could say backwoods kind of living societies, and he's like one of the most properly brought up. He's got a degree. He doesn't even have an accent.
He has degrees.
Yeah,
he has a degree. Yeah, he has a degree. I think so.
Oh wow.
So what do you got?
But I guess that's part of his thing. The whole thing of his
I didn't know
comedy,
that.
that's
cool.
his, like, he is a character. That's part of, like, that's the whole joke, is the character.
Yeah, the character's kind of, it's like his persona, I guess. We're gonna flip on over to the comments and just a sec, real quick, and see what you guys. We've had a lot of great friends tuning in and checking in with us. I know we have some family tuning in as well. Eric, thank you for tuning in. Lisa, once again, Calvin. He's up in the north side. He's doing some music stuff up there, so check him out, Calvin Weaver, and he's gonna attack his bar there, Hofbrau Steakhouse, I think. We've had a lot of great points and perspectives come into this one. So real quick, for those of you tuning in, does music divide us? And yes, I do believe it does. If you think you can argue with me, I would really like to see you comment and tell us what you think. I think music right now and the genrealization of it is definitely dividing us and causing problems. Not just causing problems with our youth and gun violence and promoting, because we talked about this on another show, but it's also causing problems because you're creating a false identity when you're creating non-authentic categorized music.
Well, there's something I want to go into and chime in on as far as another type of division. This time, I know we spoke a lot about the audience, so let's go into the musicians themselves, even artists, or visual artists. You brought up gun violence and stuff like that, but on the more non-violent side, there is another divide. It's called competition.
Yeah.
I think that is one big thing, because now you have people that are in the same genre trying to be the guy, the man, trying to stand above all of them, to make a name for themselves. And where you see a lot of people, like in the art community, it's a lot of unity, but at the same time, just like with any just regular group of friends, there's always that one that's going to go behind your back and... and I think that's with everything,
How do we stop that from happening?
Any kind of art, music, job, even. That's just part of life, but it's mostly, competition, and it's everyone's trying to make a name for themselves. So that's one way of divide that I see that. Yeah. Probably.
So we're on the divide side. You guys are on the unite side. You hippies.
I am hippie. I don't know. I feel like
you can't tell me you've never honestly been like menaced at or like looked at a certain way because of the way you're dressing for your music style or the type of music you're listening to or playing. Have you? I know you've been on stage and had somebody directly just like turn nose and walk
he's
away.
Gay.
I've done that. I've had that retract
my artwork too. It's like either too dark or too weird, too creepy, and it's like, hey, if that's not your your cup of coffee, it's somebody else's.
I have done that. I have, like, you look at a certain person and the way that music makes them, and you think, like,
you're divided.
Yeah, like, I've done that. Yeah, I can see that part, but I can also see, I don't know, like, you as a, like, it just depends on the person, and I'm trying real hard to be, I think a lot of people are trying hard not to be like that. Yeah. It depends on the person. It's all about the person. Like, if you're a person that's real prejudiced, and you just, and that's gonna happen, but
if you see it one way, it can be
the same idea.
Yeah, it can be looked at either kind of way. What do you think, babe? By the way, Sydney's my girlfriend, in case you guys are watching it now.
In case you just caught that, babe. Yeah. By the way.
We are happily don't look. She just happens to work in the music industry. She has a lot to say about this topic. So
I don't know, man. Just because,
Right after she
okay.
put
Yeah, let's say-
right on the spot.
She's got a speech prepared. Let's go.
Now I'm all blushing and
Repeat
stuff.
the question.
Okay. Yeah. What was the question?
Does music divide us? It's generalization, not music dividing us, because music I've hardly ever seen it like really, really, truly divide. But I believe that the categorization of music is dividing us slowly, and I think that
That makes sense.
I can understand that just
slowly
because
dividing us.
working in a record store, obviously we put our records and CDs, we label them by genres, and there's been
CD.
times that, I know, right? They still make those?
Thank you, Tina, for joining in,
sometimes,
and Amber Townsend. Thank you for joining in and watching. Thank you.
Sometimes I'll be like, one time I noticed that someone at my store had put Michael Jackson under, I think, rap or something, and I was like, why? Like, why would you do that? And so
pop,
it was,
right?
yeah, King of Pop or whatever. And so I can understand how a genre could divide, but me personally, I'll listen to rap. It's just kind of like when I'm feeling like I'll listen to rap or pop punk or
That's my
dream
thing right there,
pop.
like
Like
pop
there's
punk,
literally so much. Yeah, exactly. Like alternative, indie. Like there's so much. And if you're just an open-minded person, then you can find something in every piece that works.
That's sketchy,
And
bro.
obviously, there's some.
Just
I don't know,
don't mind
like.
me.
I think that I see me and the host, the owner of the Whine No Whine Show, Joe Orsak. He goes live at 5 on Fridays, right, Joe? Where are you at? Right? Yeah. So, he goes live at 5 on the Whine No Whine Show. And he's talking about a lot of different hard hitting topics too. And it's always so much fun because each week we make up our topics based on the crowds and musicians that we're getting in, and based on who we're bringing onto the table. So Joe comes up to me before the show, and he brings this up, and he sits me down, and he makes me read this article, really, really, really well written, articulate article about the difference between music authenticity and people being from a certain lifestyle and portraying that in their music, like Eminem does with his rap and hip hop lifestyle, breaking and shattering norms, and then you've got people who are which is for some reason unheard of. I always thought it was popular because we've had bluegrass, but people that are now black in the country music industry. I find it fantastic that that's happening, but I still think that even though the racial and cultural lines are blurred and music is uniting in that way, it is dividing us in a sense of class and it's dividing us in a far more financial sense too, because you've got musicians, country musicians, that have been playing a long time that are charging $50-$60 tickets. Then you've got these what people would say cheap, mediocre artists that are coming out and selling their tickets for $5, much like you have artists who are like really crappy, same type of acrylic artists would sell their art for $5, is selling it for $500 is happening, but through it being just acrylic now and just country or just rap or just whatever kind of genre, the levels in it, like with Little Peep passing, and people from the country music industry are like, well, you're worried about Little Peep passing when he was idealizing the Xanax culture and the pharmaceutical culture. That is one small facet of emo rap or whatever, blurring two different genres, both of which are crap in my opinion. But like blurring those two different kinds of genres, you're getting somebody from country music coming in, looking at that, and totally having a offensive opinion towards it because of the division that's happening between us and music and its generalization. We're throwing people like Tom Petty and all of these great musical martyrs under the bus with what they did, and we're writing it off now that they're not alive and they can't argue with it. That's their genre. That's what it is. That's not what we should call them. Like, if you want to call Little Peeps music, then do it. I don't. I call it entertainment, but I don't call it music. If I were to call it music, it would be music. It would be good. It'd be authentic. You know what I mean? But if we're gonna play music, don't freaking keep making subgenres. You know what I mean? Like, because eventually it's gonna be like American Trashanese is a type of music, and really it's just garbage.
There's like
music.
a lot of subgenres.
So it's dividing
now.
us.
It's like whoa.
And it's dividing us in many
And the
different ways
names
than
of
just
these genres
culturally
get
and
longer
racially.
and longer and longer. Like,
Yeah. Have you ever heard of crunk metal?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Broken Side. It's a thing.
I'll
Look it
listen
up.
to it.
It's awesome. I love it. They got a song called Jealousy. It's crunk and it's metal.
Who's it called? Who is it?
Broken Side, like broken,
okay,
and then
yeah.
CYDE. If you guys want to check them out, listen to them when I was in the 9th grade. But
Oh, broken. Okay, like
so
yeah.
we're gonna break on to a few other
Like
things.
A few other words that I don't want to say.
A lot of people. One thing I wanted to touch on real quick, and I know there's a lot of things that my producer's putting up there for me. If music doesn't divide us, then why is Sunday in America the most divided time of the week? You know what I mean? Why is it that Sunday you can go to church and there's many different kinds of Baptist style churches, many different kinds of Catholic churches, Lutheran churches, and all of which have different messages and different music. I know Joe personally, he'll tune into one channel, you know what I mean, on TV and listen to one specific sermon, but because the music that's coming right after that sermon he doesn't like, he's tuning out to something else. Just like if you were to go to like a predominantly all-white church, you're going to hear some really white music. As if you went to a Southern Baptist church, you're going to hear some really awesome gospel stuff.
Okay,
I
but
like
you just
gospel.
divided it.
I
'Cause
did,
you said,
exactly.
You just said really white music. Well, what if I like black gospel music?
Exactly the point.
Exactly.
What's the? What's
You
the,
just said what he was saying.
What do you mean by the question? Like the
That's
TV church stuff, or just
like,
church in
what she
general?
just said, like it is Sunday morning churches divided.
Oh,
but
you know,
one
it
big part
depends
of church
on what
is music.
church is closest
Yeah.
to your neighborhood.
Yeah,
But
for
then you
some
got
people,
but then you got all those people in that church.
When I used
that
to
are all
go, that's
divided
pretty
And
much
30
what
to
it was.
45
It was
minutes.
around the
Opinions and
corner.
whatnot.
Yeah, 30 to 45 minutes of it is music, though. That's why I'm using church as an example. I should have started with that.
I see it.
30 to 45 minutes of church is music. And so that being said, we're not just going for just sermons. Like Joe goes for a sermon and then music, but he'll switch because he doesn't like the same thing. However, that specific style of music is categorized and divided into the Southern black culture rather than a heavy gospel choir singing at a Baptist church in Magnolia, which, in case you're not from Texas, is a predominantly white part of town. So, like, there's division in the music right there. I love listening to soul and R&B. If you listen to my originals, you can hear there's a lot of soul and gospel and R&B influence in there. But I won't go to church because I freaking hate the music. I can't stand it. I'm a musician. I just can't stand it. It's terrible. So, what our producers and what some of our viewers want to know is that why is it that
I don't know.
Sunday morning is one of the most divided days of the week.
I used to play in one. It was pretty
Hard to
cool.
say,
I enjoyed
'cause I don't
playing.
go to
I wouldn't want to
church.
listen
This is
to
a
it.
hard topic too,
It's
because
hard because I don't go
Long
to
time
church
ago.
anymore.
yeah, you're talking to a bunch of heathens, guys. Stop
Yeah.
asking religious questions. We're all musicians
We're all
and artists.
sinners here, man.
Oh, bro.
We do have a lot of other
king.
things that some people were wanting to talk about, and there's some really good points, like country literally starting out as hillbilly and rap literally starting out as race music. As far as categories go, like on the charts, it was called hillbilly music before it ever hit bluegrass or country or anything like that. And rap was called race music or colored music, which was division in the music.
They're hearing that, yeah.
You know what I mean, now, even though it's evolved and we've gotten away from those different types of ancient stereotypes, we've got to move it forward into the fact that these subgenres got to be cut out, or else we're just saturating the music market. But a few more things I wanted to ask you guys while I got you on here for the time that I have, and you guys are both musicians, both artists, and we've had a lot of different questions this week. They said, Harley, will you please ask what is a man thought and what is a female thought, and how is it we can identify those even if we're not a male or a female? So I'm gonna ask her to give us a man thought after we all tell her what we think is a female thought. Can we do that real quick? You're not allowed to say anything yet. So if you're at home, tell us what a typical man thought would be, or tell us what a typical female thought would be. Here's how music can also be divided. I'm gonna make my point shortly after we get done with this question.
Female thought about.
Yeah, tell me what a female thought would be, like a typical female.
What do you
thought.
think a female thinks about her? Like a female
What do you think a man thought would be? I'll say some beer. I want a beer.
Naked.
There's one.
Yeah.
I want to see ladies naked. What do you think a girl thought would be? Chime in, guys. Please help us out with this. Let's do
attention to
it.
girls.
What side of town you want to live on?
Pay attention.
A
Get off your
typical girl thought.
game.
I want everything clean, like sparkling clean.
I want everything. There's a very Okay,
That's a good
we're getting there. What about you?
I have experience with.
I don't know if my girl was here. I'm gonna say I'm the clean one between me and my girl. But if she was here, she would. Yeah.
What is
good thing
what
she's
is
not
the
here.
thought? What is the thought she would probably think?
Oh
Along?
my goodness.
She's gonna
I looked at the
rewatch
camera.
this,
She knows what I'm
and
talking
you
I'm gonna
are
get hit. I'm gonna get
You're gonna get
slapped.
in so much trouble.
Oh, man, I
Jackie,
don't
let
know.
me know. Let me know how it goes.
What about you, Francisco? What do you got for us?
I'm gonna think of one.
What do you say? The female
What do you think a
thought?
typical female
What
thought would
is
be? And
your
I'm
idea of
gonna
a
round this up.
typical
I'm gonna make my
female
point here. But yeah, what do you think a typical female
what
thought
side
would
of
be?
town you want to live on?
That
Yeah.
is a good. That is a good one.
Yeah. So the reason why I ask about the difference in a
Or
female's
just-
opinion of what
I
a
think
male thought
females
is
think
and a
about it
male's
more than we
opinion of
do.
what a female thought is
I was thinking about
is
it.
because if we were gonna change female to
Then I
rap and
did
male to
think about it when
country,
we got our house. Yeah.
what would, if you guys were all country artists and she was a rap artist, what would you guys think a rap thought would be? And if she was a rap artist looking at country, what would she think a country artist would be thinking, right? And I know there's already some like beers, truck, women, and then gang violence, sex, and
Rascal Flats.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those right there, those thoughts
Big puffy
is why
jackets.
I say music genrealization is causing us to divide each other. Because now when we hear what kind of, if somebody comes up to you and they hands you a CD, they may be the next freaking Ed Sheeran.
Mhm.
But when you ask them what kind of music do you play, and they tell you, you're immediately dividing. You're
Based on
immediately
what
Yeah.
they said,
saying,
based on
I
what
already
they said.
know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
okay.
Like, I already know what
And
this is
you're
going to
judging
be.
them based on what
Okay.
they said.
But
Right.
I see what you're
me
saying. I see what you're
working
saying.
at a
Good
record
point.
store, we get people all the time coming in and like, hey, can you just give these away? Like, give them away for free.
Yeah.
Like, just
I love
get,
that, by the way.
Get it out there. And so sometimes I
That's
do
smart,
listen
actually.
to them.
I
yeah,
haven't thought about
exactly.
that.
I always get the
Because
local
That's a
music.
good
people,
idea.
I,
I'm gonna start
I'm
doing
not
that.
even kidding you. People will be like, "What is this?" And like, usually, I definitely know what it is because I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
And people will be like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not quite sure." And they're like, "Oh, I mean, it's free, so I'm gonna take it." And they're gonna listen to it. And
What
even
kind
if
of
it's
music do you
not,
play? Free.
but exactly. But even if it's not their type of music, chances are they have a friend that it is their music, and it's like, hey, you
This is
might
probably
like
my
this.
buddies. All
Like,
because you didn't say your genre. All because you didn't say it's a rock album, it's a hillbilly album, it's a
It's-
whatever album. It's a
just
freaking
listen
free
to it.
album.
Just listen
It's
to
music.
it. It
Listen
might be
to it.
good.
You're in a
it
music
might not
record
be
store
your
and you
thing.
just got free music. You know, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Music
Cheers.
shouldn't be
Maybe
divided.
fine when someone says, "Hey," immediately thinks just by the way you dress or look, you might like this. Like, how do you know what I like?
Well, yeah.
Like, tell me, why do you think I will like this?
Wouldn't it be a freaking beautiful world if one day we can all just like, when we talk about music, we never mention a single genre. Like, imagine never saying country rap or anything like that. Imagine never saying a genre again. And then whenever you go up to somebody and you're saying, hey, you make music, what's your music about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, what kind of genre do
That's
you
cool.
play?
That's a cool concept.
You know what I
That's
mean?
a
I
cool
like that.
concept.
I like that.
Because we
Again,
have
all
these
these
genres, because we have
genres,
them, we're dividing each other.
I think
Yeah.
it's
We're
just,
immediately creating a reason on why we're different instead of why we're alike.
I think it's just like how you make the music, or like that may not make sense.
Music should unite
Actually,
us,
I
but
only
these
think
genres
the name
separate
of the
us.
genres has something to do
Should
with
you
how
live it
the
out
music
there?
is made.
Yeah, describe the music itself rather than the genre.
Yeah, like what's it about? Oh, this is songs about my family. This album is going to be based around coming up in a young, or like if I was a rapper, instead of saying, oh, I write rap music, I'd say I write very heavily lyrically influenced music that talks about overcoming adversity and struggle and growing up in a predominantly poor neighborhood and the problems and lifestyles that
mouthful.
occur.
But you
That's
see,
probably
that's
why-
why I
that's
think
probably why-
genres were
that's
made
probably
because
why-
it's
saying
a
that-
mouthful.
No,
when
But
it
you
comes to
saying
shit.
that, but through you saying that, it's like, dude, I want to listen to your music. I don't even know that it's rap. You could be talking about country. You could be talking about, doesn't matter, but because of the way
That
you
keys
said it's
people
about,
in on
Much
there's
the
no
lyrics.
genre.
Much
It is rhythm.
Yeah.
It's changing in rhythm and
I'm
changing in
between this
timing is the
too.
definition of music. A change in a rhythm and a changing in
It's just
timing. That's what
somebody
defines
says
music,
that
and that's
one
language. Like that's
idea,
English.
it's like-
What I'm saying right now, the
a
sentence I just
mouthful,
made, that
but
was a
it
musical
does-
sentence because it changed rhythm and timing.
So better than just.
I'm not going to
giving it a
generalize my
genre.
sentence. I'm just going to tell you what the sentence was about. Same with what music is. Like, you don't generalize music. You just tell people what it's about, and you hope they like it and listen to it.
I can see that, but also like I prefer not to listen to country. So if I didn't have a set genre to look up, how do I like? If it's just mixed in there, like how am I gonna be able to find what I like? Because there's no.
Yeah, our producer's just saying it's mainly acoustic guitar with a simple beat and heavily lyrically involved around family,
Yeah, like
etc.
Soundgarden.
Also known as folk. You know, like
Soundgarden.
right. Oh, I love
What's that?
Soundgarden.
What's
With,
Soundgarden?
yeah,
Who's
yeah.
that?
Don't say that out loud so the mic don't hear you.
You know what?
But
Who's that?
I remember just now. Forget, scratch that, like edit that out.
I'm gonna cut that one for post production. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you have any arguments or any questions or comments on anything we got going on today, please feel free to comment and chime in. If you have any friends that make music, art, poetry, comedy, spoken word, rap, entertain, or do anything in the visual nature, they can get in contact with us on TexasMusicandArt.com, Facebook.com, TexasMusicandArt, youtube.com/The Wine No Wine Show, and they can get on the show themselves, and we can grill them just as hard as we're grilling all of our friends on here today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for coming out and sharing your thoughts and stuff with
I'm
us.
honored. It was a good time.
I just have a few more
Thanks for
things I
having me.
wanted to go over with y'all, and also be sure to subscribe to our channels and be sure to follow us on Facebook, The Whine No Wine Show. When you follow us, you get to see all of the really cool stuff that we're doing, and be the first to get concert tickets and see art and know where it's going up and stuff. So, real quick, I want to do the shameless plugs one more time because we've had the crowd kind of roll over. Let's do it again. Let's introduce yourself again to the camera. Tell us where you're from and tell us where we can find you. Or tell us what you do and tell us where we can find you.
Frankie Holmes, FRANKIEHOLMES, Instagram. Been an artist for the last 17 years, off and on.
What kind of art?
Yeah, what kind of art? What can someone hire you
A
for?
painter, print maker, sketcher.
Cool.
Do you
so
do commissions and stuff? Nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
If you need some commission art, you can find him at Frankie Holmes. That's Holmes with an L. Frankie with an I-E, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Frankie I-E Holmes with an L, M-E-S at the end. And what about you? Let's get you.
Ricky Ortiz, Facebook and Instagram. You know,
Ricky with
.com.
an I, with a Y.
With the Y,
Ah.
yeah, you know, the way it's supposed to be spelled. My opinion. Anyways, yeah, Facebook and Instagram, you know, .com/Ricky Ortiz Arts. Yeah, paintings, drawings, murals, body paint, and FX makeup, special effects
Oh,
makeup.
nice.
Oh, word.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Halloween's usually a busy.
Yeah, that is so
Is that
cool.
you right there that we have you pulled up?
No, it's
I-E Frankie.
Oh, that's with the
I-E
Y.
on the Frankie. We're going to be posting these
Frankie
tags
is
up on
I-E.
right now. They're
Frankie is
our
I-E
producers and our crew
Ricky
are putting
is
that up
Y.
now. So, Sydney, tell us about Sound Revolution. Tell us about where we can
It's
follow
not
you
on
on Facebook
Facebook.
and follow the record store, the best record store in
That's on
Houston, Sound
Instagram.
Revolution.
all right. Sound Revolution. You can
And
find us on
Ricky is
Facebook.
with the Y, not an
Just
IE.
Sound Revolution. 2 locations, 1960 in Ella and 249 in Louetta. If you're looking on Instagram, it's there's 2. There's like a music one and a smoking one. So Sound Revolution HTX is
And our 420
the,
buddies can go to the smoking one.
Yeah, 420 Friendly is on Sound Revolution Smoke. So come check us out. I usually
you've heard
work
the name.
almost every day at the 249 in Louetta location. So come see us and get your Christmas presents.
And I'm gonna let you go real quick, but I have one last thing before we're gonna. My buddy Ross is gonna give us a an outro, and he's also gonna tell us a little bit about himself. But every Thursday we go live at 7 with the Artist Edition. On Mondays, live at 7. Show starts at 7. Music starts at 8 at Jailhouse Saloon. The open mic starts there. So if you have any friends that make music, go out to Jailhouse Saloon in Spring. Sign up at 7. Start at 8. Avant Garden, the largest singer-songwriter open mic in Houston to date. It's been the longest standing and longest riding one, other than maybe Rudyard's. Come on out to Avant Garden downtown, 411 Westheimer. Sign up at 7. Show starts at 8. We keep it going the whole night. It's got a lot of fun, cheap drinks, and then Thursdays, of course, we're here. Fridays, we have the Whine No Wine Show. Saturdays and Sundays, we book shows with text, music, and art. So, if you need to get represented or you need to find somebody to get represented, then you can help us get to work at textmusicandart.com. Ross, why don't you go ahead and tell us where we can find you and play us a little bit of
Ross
song.
House, Instagram, Facebook. I am a very passionate upcoming artist. And I'll have some stuff out on Spotify as quick as I can.
How you doing? I was hoping it was gonna be.
Oh, you
playing that
gotta,
one
do you have like a YouTube channel or anything too?
I do not yet, but I'm gonna get one up. I have some stuff on YouTube. It's I have like 2 songs up.
You have a song on our YouTube channel too, on the Whine No Wine Show YouTube page. Make sure you tune over because Ross has a song on there. So
House of Blues. I play one at House of Blues. It's Ross House, House of Blues. Sight and Sound and Loser. That's my songs on there. This one is called
play us your favorite one, man.
Oh man, favorite one.
Ooh, let's just switch it up.
Oh, you know what? I played this one last. You may play the one I played last time. Should I play something different?
Yeah, play something different. Play something
That
different.
was my favorite. Let's see.
That one's already up on YouTube.
Yeah, let me do. Yeah, this one.
We're gonna have
This is
a
about
Ross
time
album.
going by
All of your
fast.
favorite is on YouTube.
Yes, my favorite's on YouTube. Whine No Wine Show,
What's it called?
the YouTube channel.
The song.
No, the song.
It's in a bottle.
Yeah,
Time in a
yeah,
bottle.
but it's called
Time in a Bottle. Right?
It's called Time
It's
in a
gone.
Bottle.
It's called. It's gone. That's what it's called.
It's
The
gone.
song is called It's Gone?
Yeah, I changed it, but that's not a big deal. You can do Time in a Bottle. I don't give a shit.
Copywriting problems with music
Yeah,
and lyric
doesn't
happens
matter.
all the
Just-
time.
that's
I've
what
changed
it
like
is.
happened with a few of my
Yeah.
paintings where somewhere along the line I changed the name.
I wrote
So
it.
next
I
week,
wrote it.
happens,
we're
alright?
discussing naming rights for music and art next week. Be sure to tune in.
Sometimes,
Why don't you go ahead and play us this song?
Give it a new name.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
That's a
It's
good
gonna
Time
be
in a
the
Bottle. This doesn't matter. I don't give a crap. We'll do
Go to
that.
edit.
We're
Edit
gonna
it.
keep going here.
Okay, I'm gonna challenge you guys to drink this before he finishes the song. If you guys also want to see if they can drink it before he finishes the song, tune in. Ross, go ahead and kick it off. We're gonna get toasty. You gotta finish it before he finishes the song.
Make sure he has enough intro time. Wait, no, get like, wait. You gotta start again because I want to have a clean.
All right, bro. I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna cut this
Yeah,
video.
what
so.
the heck?
My bad. My bad. I know I'm always
We
messing
want it
up
to be
here.
That's it.
phenomenal.
Not knowing my songs, man. Starting too early.
Here we go. Y'all
We
ready?
cheers.
Get your glasses ready.
1, 2, 3.
To the Whine No Whine Show Artist Edition, thank you guys for coming out. Ross, you are amazing. You guys are awesome. Okay.
I'll pretend like I didn't.
You have to.
I love this one.
Alright.
I live my days for tomorrows. Living life, live a life, live a life. And all these words, and I feel hollow. It's alright, see the light for tomorrow. Where do you go when you fall down? I still haven't felt the touch of ground, suffocating, but the world won't cave in. And how do you fake it when you're not all there? Everyone tells you life ain't fair. I guess I'll just hide behind my teeth. You try to fly, but you keep on falling. So much to do, but you keep on stalling. And I don't know why. I don't know why. And all this time and you're still alone. Got no friends, but you feel it home. And I don't know how. I don't know how to be.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Whine No Whine Show. We'll see you next week. Thursday, we're kicking it off at 7 p.m. We're going live every Thursday with the Artist Edition of the Whine No Whine Show. What was the name of that song, Ross?
Oh my gosh! Don't ask me the names of songs, man.
No names of the songs yet. You can find it soon on our YouTube channel,
change it
youtube.com/The Whine No Whine Show.
I guess it's-
it's
Facebook.com/The
gotta be.
Whine No Whine Show.
I guess no one won,
Facebook.com/Texas
huh?
Music
No
and
one
Art.
finished.
Get it in, yeah. Tell you what, we'll finish it right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are peacing out. And from everyone at the back, thank you guys so much for your help.
5 p.m.
We'll see you 5 p.m. tomorrow. See ya.
Yay!
I wasn't sure if you had cut that out yet.
Oh.